Border from Border Home Inspections. Some of you are getting ready to buy a home, and it's a bit of a daunting task. There's all kinds of things that you have to look into, and one of those things, of course, is getting a home inspection. So today's video, I want to talk about different approaches to the home inspection process. I want to talk specifically, of course, in how I do it. And I've taken a sample report, and I'm going to cut and splice some video and do some audio and just explain to you how I go about it. Now, I'm fairly unique in how I do my inspections. I do a lot of video, and I take 360 images in each of the rooms if I can. It's not a guarantee, but I usually do. I do sewer scoping, and I try to comprise all of that information into my report. It's usually quite large. So I want to talk about the process. I want to scroll through an actual screen grab of viewing this sample report, which, by the way, is on my website. If you want to go to the website, borderhi.com, and click on sample reports page, and you'll see it there. I've had permission from a customer to show it to you. And it's an actual report. So that's one of the things that I recommend to my customers, even when they call and they're asking for price, is have a look at the website, make sure that you see what I do and that you're going to be okay with that process. So let's face it, not every home inspector does it the same as I do. Some of them literally are just not very good. Some are great. So you have to decide that for yourself. And I always say, don't always take the recommendation of the realtor. Sometimes that's the best recommendation. Other times, maybe not. So you're going to take somebody's advice, maybe not get the best inspection. I recommend that you go to your home inspection websites and choose for yourself. So in today's video, I'm going to explain how I do it. Again, I'm going to go through a sample report, and this is the type of report you would get if you hired me. Now, I realize that people watching this video are not likely in my area, a lot of them. A lot of people watch the videos don't necessarily hire me. So if you're watching this video, this is just an example of what to look for in a home inspector, and in particular what to look for in a home inspection report. So what I say is, it's not the knowledge so much of your home inspector that makes him valuable to you. Of course, that's really important. Having experience as a home inspector is critical. But presenting that information in a meaningful report is also very important. I use HomeGauge software, which I have been doing for 17 years. It's just a really good program that allows me to display the information that I'm seeing in real time almost. And you'll get a view of that through lots of videos and 360 images and so on. So we're going to get started here. I'm going to show you this sample report, which you can view on my website, and I'll try to explain it as I go along. If you do hire me, this would be a good sample video for me to send you ahead of time so that you can say, oh, okay, that's what I'm going to get. Good, I'm good with that, or I'd rather hire the other guy. It's your choice, ultimately. That's why I like to do these videos. Just be upfront with people. Let's get started. We'll see how it goes. Well, here we go. This is my dashboard, but basically if you get a home inspection done by Border Home Inspections, you will be directed towards the HomeGauge website and their dashboard. So here's my sample report. Here it says my house, small town. So we're going to go and say view document. Takes a few minutes to load things up, but essentially this is the opening page. Now, what I like to do is I like to do a walk through the inside of the house first before I start my inspection. Sometimes I'm on property, say, for up to 20 minutes before I start home inspection. So let's have a look here. This is the cover video that I do once I come back outside from that walkthrough. So that's basically what I do initially is I do my walkthrough. I try to highlight what I've seen in my walkthrough, and I try to pay close attention to the concerns that I know about ahead of time from my customer. So that's the intro video. So we scroll down. I like to give people an understanding of how my inspections work. So a lot of times, for instance, I get a phone call from people, and the first question is, how much do you charge? And I try to explain to them that that is probably, it's an important question, but it's probably not the first question you should ask. Find out first if your home inspector is qualified. Find out what they're going to do for you for the money. If they're $50 more than the competition, that might be the best $50 you ever spent. But at the same time, I've seen situations where the inspectors are extremely expensive and people think, well, because they cost so much money, they must be really good, and they're ultimately disappointed. So let's get started on this. So I got a table of contents, and you can scroll up and down through this table of contents. I categorize my inspections in different areas. So we do the exterior, the yard, the roof, and so on. So you can tap on any of those. First of all, at the very top of each section, it gives you a preamble of what that section's about and how I go through it as a home inspector. Then there's the styles of material, which is basically where I tell you what this particular house has for siding, for instance, and so on. Then as we scroll down a little bit further, we have each area of the exterior, for instance. That's what we're looking at now. We got inspected, got not inspected, potential concern, maintenance required, repair or replace, inspector recommendation, safety concern, and not present. Now, I categorize my inspections this way because I like to tell people if the column, let's say inspected, is checked off. If that column is checked off, that means I've looked at it. It's normal for the age of the house. What's normal for a 1960 house probably would be considered a defect in a house that's 5 years old. But for this house, I've checked it off. It's normal. If it's in the not inspected category, I like to tell people, basically that the reason why I didn't inspect something. It's very common to find home inspectors checking the not inspected or unable to inspect category way more often than they should be, in my opinion. So it's important not to have too many things in that category. Potential concern. So I've looked at something, it's not quite normal, or I can't figure it out. I don't know what's going on. I'm concerned about it, but I don't know if it's a big problem or not. You're going to have to follow up with somebody else, for instance. Maintenance required. So yeah, you get some peeling paint or some minor stuff. Every house needs maintenance. So that's what that category is for. The next category is the repair or replace category. That's more serious. So you got a broken window, you got a leaking tap or something like that. In IR, I've added this in recent years because let's say I've climbed into an attic space of a 1970s house and it's got R12 in the attic. My recommendation would be to add more insulation, but it doesn't necessarily mean that R12 insulation is uncommon for that age of house. That's what they did in 1970 is R12. So my recommendation is to increase it, say, to R40. Safety concern speaks for itself if something doesn't look safe. Just take a minute there on that one. Safety concern is something that you have to realize that the home inspection is not a code inspection. So we're only looking at things that are of concern for your safety or your children's safety. And the last one is not present. And in other words, it doesn't apply in this case. It's not on this house. Okay, so we're going to scroll down. You can see there's 15 different things that I look for on the outside of the house. And this is down in here in this area here. This explains what each of the columns represents. And then under that I have my comments. Most of the comments I type on site. Some of them are pre-typed comments. One of the things I find a lot of home inspectors do is they have pre-filled in comments, and if it's close, they just click on that comment and then share it with you as if it applies 100% to the house they're inspecting. That's a little dangerous, I think, and I try to keep my comments particular to the house that I'm inspecting. So if I don't have a comment that says the siding is broken, above the window, then I type it in. If I had the comment that said the siding is not in great shape, it is very ambiguous, I wouldn't add a comment like that because I'd try to tell you exactly where problem area is. All right, so this video is going to become long, so I'm going to go fairly quickly, but I wanted to show you. So again, I look at the outside of the house, and then I might do a video explaining a particular issue. The vinyl siding looks like it's certainly not original. It looks new. I don't know how many years ago. So again, I'm not going to play the videos, but that's the idea. So very few home inspectors use video. Some use video, but they don't talk. I like to talk and explain things. So let's look at the bottom of this one. It's been months and months ago since I did this, but I probably did a video about downspouts. Let's see here. So once again, looking at this side here with your window wells are quite low to the ground. The video started on its own here. Buried in the ground. At the very least, put covers over them. Running this faucet, water runs this direction. It's a good example. Really, the best thing you can do here is take this walkway out and re-pour it. And don't be afraid to put it a little bit of a slope. Guys will try to get 1/4 inch per foot, so it's almost flat, and then it settles. And that's why this happened. So I would avoid that by putting a greater slope on it, even if it's 2 inches higher there than over here, and stake it into the foundation with a steel rebar. So I could have approached this in this home inspection as just saying negative slope detected in the walkway next to the house. And that's true, but by doing the videos and explaining what I am seeing and making recommendations to make it better, that's how I like to approach my home inspection. So at the end of the day, people know what I've said. A lot of people will say, well, I'm not taking the walkway out unless it becomes a problem. And if you go through this sample report, you'll see that there has been problems in the basement. So it's a good idea to follow my recommendations. It's better to do overkill than it is to not do enough. And you can see there's multiple videos here. This is still in the first section of the report. Now we get out into the yard section. And it's all done the same way with the styles of materials and the different inspection items. Not as comprehensive, of course, as the exterior of the building, where the cladding is probably the most important part next to the roof. And again, we get down into this. There's the roof section. One thing about the roof section, in my inspections at least, I do as best I can to get on the roof and physically walk around, because if you don't do that, you miss things. I have a drone, but I very rarely fly it. Even on tall roof systems, if I can get my tall ladder out and get it to work, I will try to climb on that roof. But as I'm aging, I'm thinking maybe I shouldn't be taking so many risks. But nonetheless, that's what we do. So garage section, I'm going to scroll really fast to the bottom here. You can see it's very comprehensive. So halfway through, I do the 360 images. So you tap on that 360 image, it loads it up. If you've got fast internet, it's even better. So you can see, you can scroll around. I like to put the pictures in there so you can determine for yourself if there's any issues that might have got missed during the home inspection. You have to remember that not all items is going to be seen during a home inspection. We're looking at absolutely everything. So if a plumber walked in the house, he might detect something. On site, there is an exhaust. He might detect something that I didn't see, because all he's looking for is a leak. So again, we're going to scroll right to the bottom this time. In the bottom section here, this is where you have your summary, and each section, for instance, I made some comments in the repair or replace or the maintenance summary talking about the yard. These are the comments without the pictures, and the garage and quality of life, which is the molds and air quality, that sort of thing. That's another section I've added to my reports that most inspectors don't do. You have to realize that the inspection is not a mold inspection. But if I see mold, of course, or if I see issues that look like they could lead to a mold growth situation, and I'm going to tell you about it. That's part of the inspection. So, and then in this one, I think there might have been, yeah, there's a sewer scope down in this one, and I record that separately, and then I add it in later on. It has audio in it sometimes if I find an issue. So you can see the camera going down the sewer line, and I'll scroll ahead a little bit here. So you can see there's an issue right there. So I probably did some audio on that as well. Yeah.
I'm waiting for the water from the upstairs to reach this point. It's coming slow. It's hard to say whether I'll be able to push the camera over that joint displacement or not. I'm getting pretty close to the main line, and this should be dropping down into the main line here now.
So again, you get to know that your inspector's done what they said they were going to do if they show the pictures and the videos of the results of checking things. And that's what I like to do. So hopefully this has helped some of you and giving you an idea of what your home inspector should be able to do for you. Okay, thanks for watching.